Welcome back to Crafty Pastor. I'm here with, oh, am I wrong?
Using crafty fast.
Welcome back to Crafter Pastor. I'm here with Crafty Abby, who remembers my name. Say hi. And we are still working on our journal. That is actually going to be like a reusable playset. If you remember, I'm reaching over here to get it. We're starting with this old cookbook. Uh, and we're going to turn it into a reusable playset. So in one of the rooms that we got from our book, what we have is like a little diner. It's kind of like a dining room, but it looks like a diner. And Abby loves to play restaurant, so she definitely wants a restaurant scene. But as you could see, there's a picture on the wall. It's actually, even in the magazine, it's kind of lighted out a bit, but it's just something boring. What we wanted was something more exciting, like Twilight Sparkle. Okay, so we've done is you may have seen us in another video being like, oh, we could use these as paintings somewhere. So we're actually going to take this and cut it to the right size to be in this frame. So in order to do that, this is trial and error. Uh, Abby asked me a few minutes ago, well, how did you learn this stuff? I said, by trying, and I'm learning it as I go. Um, I have a light pad. I got this light pad at a Goodwill actually for like $3. I think they're about $10 on Amazon. It's just powered by USB. It can get dimmer and then it can get brighter. And what that helps with actually helps me a lot with weeding for cricket. I just got this like a week ago. But you can see that if we put this here, um, there's a really bright part there. But what we want to focus on is over here. You can really see that picture well through it. So what I want to do though, to make it even more visible, is I'm going to take a black Sharpie and trace the outline. You can kind of see it there in pink. I tried it on the front and then I was like, oh, wait, I'll do it on the back. It'll be better, right? So I'm going to trace the outline because it's not perfectly rectangular. You know what's really kind of interesting is also when I was cutting out these pictures from the magazines and cutting them down to size to put into my uh, journal, they're not even square on the page in the magazine a lot of times. So, if you didn't cut something perfectly square, just know neither do the professionals. Okay, but that's yeah, looks like we got it pretty good there, right, Abby?
Yeah.
Okay. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our Twilight Sparkle picture, which I know is hard to see with so much backlight on there, and we're gonna put it on top of this. And if we look carefully, which we might have to do off camera because of having to get our heads down in there. But what we're going to do is we're going to see, let me see if I can. No, 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 you're right, because wrong side to wrong side. See?
Wow.
So we're going to cut it so that when we put it back on the front, it'll be the right shape. So you see, we're doing back to back to make it the right shape. Thank you for pointing that out, Crafty Abby. So let's see if I can lift this whole light pad up. Can you see the black trying to come through? You can see the black really good before we put the other picture. You can barely see it once we put the other picture. So what's going to have to happen is that I'm going to have to stop this video and do it, okay? Because my head is going to be down in there and nobody wants to see that. But uh, just basically going to lean in and then we'll cut and then we'll glue it on there. And so when we get to that page, you'll be able to see how it came out, right? But I can't really do this part of it on camera. Here, why don't I just do this? I'll just wiggle this thing over here and do it real quick. That way we can cut it together, right, Abby?
Yep.
So looking, okay, whatever we're gonna take off, probably gonna be more toward this side because there's less there. And of course, we take off is at the bottom. So I'm going to try to line this up so that not much of the left is going to be taken off. Okay. At the bottom, it's really hard to see because there's a pretty dark picture behind her. But we're going to do our best with that. The other thing we might have to do, just, sometimes you got to try new things. So when I'm trying to do it on the back, this other picture is so dark, it's not showing through. So I am going to go back to the front and do it. And, I was trying to avoid having any lines in the final product, but you know what? This is just a fun project. So if there's a line, there's a line, right, Abby?
Yep.
So I'm going to just actually make the top to line up with the top. Yeah. And some of the unicorn is going to end up cut off. So I know you can't see what I'm doing, but you'll see in a second because actually it shows through pretty good. It's showing through pretty good over here on the front side. Showing me where, oops, I'm going to block the picture because I just made my line up a bit further than I wanted to. Let's figure out where this line is. Okay, it's right here. So I see like another line that's like a line from the page behind it. So obviously I want to avoid that one. All right, so now I have, oh, you cannot see that with the light on. There we go. So I have this and I have the marks where we're going to cut it. So this is a fairly small cut. I like to use paper cutters because they cut straight, but you know what? This can go in one pass of the scissors. So if it can go in one pass of the scissors, you're going to get a nice straight cut anyway, right? I lined up the top, so the top actually doesn't need anything. And this part is going to need to get cut off. Okay, so now what we should have, if I did this right, Abby will correct me if I didn't, right?
Yep.
If I did this right, what we should have is a picture that fits right in this picture frame. Does it?
Looks good.
All right, so now I'm going to reach for this is Aleene's Tacky Glue. I've got to work on a spreader or something, but I'm also going to try this zip dry later today and see how it works in comparison.
That's better.
Because that's the Cricut spreader, and once you use it with glue, it will not work as what it was supposed to be. So you gotta have like one spreader per project. Yeah. I did get a like so my we call it $1.25 tree, okay, instead of dollar tree. But my $1.25 tree yesterday had the spatula but not the spreader. I got a spatula. I think it's over here somewhere. Still moving some of those things around. Yeah, here it is. So I didn't think I was going to glue yet, but I've got a spatula to spread the glue, and this was only $1.25, so it's like I can use it. It's not a big deal. I'm just going to press that right in there, and voila, we have now have the exact same diner from the bungalow book, but have a picture for Hello Kitty. No, this isn't Hello Kitty. Who's this? My Little Pony. Thank you. And so, like sometimes they reupholster things. Well, we're reupholstering, we're redecorating. Um, Now that I did this, like Abby is probably gonna be like, we can redo the laminate on the countertops or something. We're not gonna go too crazy yet, but I think it's a cool idea to just take. Ooh, there goes that. This does have a pretty touchy on-off button on this particular model. If you're interested in exactly what I have here, I think this one I looked up, to see if it was a good deal. I looked it up on Amazon, and it was like 20 or a little less than 20. So it's product model A4-21C LED light pad. And it's all it does. It lights up, but it lights from behind. It's really helpful. My wife wants one just to have a light above her, to be honest. All right, well, thank you for joining, Crafty Pastor. Excuse me, Crafter Pastor. And Crafty Abby, we are glad you're with us. This particular corner here, just so you know, it didn't really stick that well, but I'm not going to worry about it, and I'll tell you why. I don't know why. Because we're gonna end up putting the contact paper over the whole thing anyway, and that'll hold it down perfectly. All right, so we will be back soon, actually, with another video working on the journal. I will tell you that I've already done one page, and now Abby is going to do a page off camera as a practice, and we got some trial and error in that. And then when we come back, we'll do a page together, right? So I don't know which page you think that we should do next, but I know that this is what Abby wants to do next. She really wants those kids to be able to play outside. So we are going to do this one next. Not the diner yet. Maybe we'll do the diner when we do it together. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.